Hey everybody, this is Gaynor Meilke with the Red Divorce. And today, Red stands for Relationships, Elevation, and Decisions. And I wanted to take a few minutes and make this video on the idea of how breaking out of the mindset that being chosen by a partner is the main goal of an adult life. And there's a lot of conversation around this right now. But I know that I'm becoming more and more aware of how to think about a potential life partner or marriage in terms of a business decision. And I think I always thought about it that way, but um, with a lot of cultural and family conditioning, you get pushed down a different path. And what I would like my daughter and her peers to think about is one, and I think that this is definitely something that has shifted in their mental state, is that becoming somebody's bride, if you're going to do the traditional heterosexual marriage contract, should be a business decision. And it should be a business decision based on them being, and I hate to use this cliche, but the CEO of their own lives. And I think about it that way for myself too. Now, is what do you really want out of your life? What are your goals? And then how would getting married or living with somebody or being in a relationship with somebody help you further that? And how could you help somebody further their own goals, and are they worthy of you helping them and supporting them? And I think that's a mutual decision that people have to make. I was just talking about this with my daughter, who's 19, last night, about different situations and people in marriages where, things did not work out. And, she said, I think that you need to, you know, be able to kind of know what you want, but then also be able to work things out. And I said, well, but also, does somebody have your best interests at heart? Or are they seeing it as a transaction as well? And is that the type of relationship that you want? Something that's more transactional as opposed to something that's a deep emotional bond? And are you going to be able to grow with that person? And will that person support your growth? And will they also grow? And will you support their growth? And there's so many different takes on relationships, but I think especially for first marriages, there's pressure on females because of the ticking, you know, child clock. If you're going to have children, of course, there's a lot of different ways to have children. Um, I still believe that the best thing for children is to be born into a legal marriage because of the protections that it offers, even after um, the dissolution of a marriage, if that happens. But if you're not going to have children, you also need to think about what the marriage arrangement is for. And, if both people want to be in that type of arrangement and are willing to, really honor it in the way that you both feel is appropriate, then, it can be a wonderful and beautiful thing. But so many marriages end in divorce now. And I think a lot of that has to do with people not really understanding the role of um, the marriage. So, and when I say that, it can look different for everybody. I know from my own purview, I don't believe that a marriage contract is a license to act however you want and then just expect or force the other person to accept it. So, that's where being upfront about what it is that you believe and what you don't, and what will be, deal breakers basically, because it is a contract. So think about this as from a female perspective, like what's the bridal bargain? What is the business case for wanting to be a bride when it comes to you and you being ownership of your own life? And that's the business of being you. And from, a male perspective, you can also start to think about what is it that you truly want out of a relationship, and are you just trying to get something transactionally from somebody, or do you actually care about the other person and want to foster a caring and loving relationship? And really think about what that looks like and what it's going to look like in 10 years, and 20 years, and 30 years, as opposed to what it looks like right now. And that is where having marriage education training is important. I'm certified in the Marriage Foundation education program and can help with that. And I also having been through divorce and being a conscious life coach and business coach and parenting coach, can speak, directly to helping you with questions you might have about marriage and what divorce may look like and things to avoid getting to a divorce point as well. So I think a lot of divorces happen because of infidelity, because of um, abusive dynamics, which you may not even realize are being abusive. People talk about lack of communication, but if you feel like you're arguing or somebody's crying or somebody's not talking, that's more than communication. That's a lack of feeling and empathy towards another person. And you need to look within yourself as to why you don't feel that you can reach out to them. And oftentimes it's we're harboring resentment. So I think part of our Red Divorce program and uh, pre-marriage programs is how to deal with that resentment. And we do it from a conscious success standpoint where we're not looking at the other, we're looking within ourselves at why we're triggered, what we can do to break down our walls and keep front and center the greater good of a relationship as well. So, something to think about, when you do get into a marriage, it stops being all about you and it should be about both of you. And how can you be independent and interdependent? So if you're interested in learning more either about pre-marriage education, post-marriage education, where it's talking more about the red divorce program, or just to get some clarity around what you want in a relationship, you can check out our Conscious Success Plan program or more resources here in the playlist of Red Divorce.